Today's video, I interviewed Happy Raw Reny. Hopefully you enjoy it. In interviews, I like to observe and I just like to watch people, and I'm watching my face. I look grumpy and I'm not. So, if people have asked me about this in my interviews and previous interviews, I go into total observation mode and my face just falls like that. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I had to make a little short blip here about this. I don't want people thinking I was like mad or something like that. I probably should put this in front of every interview. I don't know why my face just falls like that when I'm listening. So anyway, enjoy the video. All right,
Yes.
so I've got Happy Raw Reny with me today. I know I interview a lot of raw vegans. It's just because that's just when I felt best, but I did have, some complications with it. So I like to bring the message out there. And I've seen a lot of your posts and I just thought they were interesting. So I just wanted to know your journey. And I know you're on Instagram and YouTube. So I will, put those down in the description down below so people can go check you out and subscribe, follow, whatever it is. And welcome to the channel.
It's my huge pleasure. I love your channel. I looked a little bit at your videos. I really, really love your vibe.
Yeah.
You're just so like real and present. I love that.
I don't know if you're allowed to be real anymore on social media, but yeah, I try to keep it as real as possible.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, your transformation is so phenomenal. I would love to see more of that, of you covering it more.
Yeah, I don't know why do you know who Barbara O'Neill is?
I heard that name somewhere.
Yeah, she's getting pushed real hard lately, and I noticed that she's been pushing rebounding a lot. Yeah. And I have a couple of rebounder videos, and I went back and watched. I'm actually going to be remaking them because I went back and watched. I look so much better now than I did then. So while I might not have had a ton of weight loss in the last year, my face and everything, I looked pretty sickly actually when I was on there. So anyway, this isn't about me, but I do there is more to it than just weight loss.
Exactly. Oh, I hear you on that one, because I don't even like to say that these words, weight loss, I don't like fat burn, that's like way better.
Oh yeah.
But even more importantly is how we feel.
Yeah.
So I would say how we feel, number one, how we look, maybe number two is also important. It feels good to look good. And then how we, the number on the scale, it's not even, it's not important at all. And it might be a helpful measurement as we, if you need to release weight, release excess body fat, but it's really not that important at all. You might weigh exactly the same and look and feel and be completely different, like muscular and fit, which is like the goal, right? To be fit and to feel great and to look good. Well, one of the reasons why I think it's really good to look good is to be an inspiring vegan.
Yeah,
because
100%.
This is probably the most important things for all of us vegans, is to inspire others. So as many people as possible go vegan too.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people think that vegans look sickly and skinny, and I mean I've been vegan for 12 years, I think. And, I certainly don't match that description. So I think there's a whole lot of variations out there with that.
Yeah. To me, you look really healthy. And people might say, oh, that you still large or something, like you said in one video, but hey, you look like 100 times better than before. And
yeah.
This is, this is just speaks for itself. And I've been raw vegan for 16 years, over 16 years. I definitely don't look too thin, for sure. So you don't have to be. It depends really how you do it. And it's amazing how many people say, I did raw vegan and it didn't work for me. the thing is that there's so many other aspects of lifestyle, not just being raw vegan, and also mindset. That's one thing. And another thing, you can do raw vegan in so many ways, in like hundreds of ways. So it really depends on how we do it exactly.
So I guess that's kind of the start of the interview here. Like, how did you get started? Were you born vegan? I mean, did you start from the beginning? I mean, how did you get into it?
I was 29 when I found myself really sick from mostly the low carb diet, and just eating very unhealthy. I was just super focused on just getting thinner, and I really got pretty sick. I went to check my health because I started feeling really bad. My back was hurting. My kidneys actually were hurting. And my lungs were in really bad condition, and I just didn't feel good. So I checked, and it was, the lady said that my liver was chronically inflamed, and it looked like an old person, like a 40-something or 50-year-old person's liver. And it was after 1 year on, I can't say Atkins diet because I started Atkins diet, but then I realized that when I eat a lot of fat, that, I don't get I don't get slimmer, of course, you get water weight loss in the beginning. So many people get excited about low carb because they're like, oh, I dropped a few pounds. But that was water from our muscles. And our muscles need this energy. They need, it's water combined with glycogen. So every gram of glycogen, which is basically like glucose, holds 3 grams of water. So it's in just a few days, you can drop like 4 pounds easily. And then what? And then you don't have energy. You don't want to move. You're getting lethargic, and you start gaining fat if you eat all that fat. So it's really silly. So what I did, not only I dropped most of the carbs, I just was eating like half a head of cabbage a day.
Or broccoli. Yeah, it's it's like cabbage or broccoli. That's your choices.
Yeah. I was pretty extreme. So that, and then I started eating fat-free cottage cheese because I realized I'm not gonna release body fat if I still continue eating all the fat. And then I used a lot of artificial sweetener because, of course, I craved sweet like crazy. I craved natural sugar, but I gave myself artificial sweetener. So that really made me really, really, really sick. So my kidneys got inflamed, my liver got inflamed. I started getting huge infections in my lungs, big issues. And I started falling apart. And that's when I started looking for solutions. Also, a doctor told me that I have incurable infection.
Yeah, they're good at that.
Yeah. And they said, you got to take this antibiotics. And before I actually bought the package of that, and I brought it home, and I decided to look on internet and see, should I really take it? And what I saw was really horrifying. They said, usually after this antibiotic, they will give you stronger antibiotic, and then stronger, and then you will have all the side effects, and they'll give you drugs for the side effects. And that was so many stories like this I saw, and people still didn't heal from it. So I'm like, I don't really want to go this route. So I started researching, and I found John Coller's website.
Oh, okay. I actually interviewed him.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm so grateful. I'm forever grateful. I found his website, and his approach is very balanced. So like fruits, and also lots of veggies, and some healthy fats, not too much. He's not like back then, I don't know how he's now, but back then it was around 20% of fat. So, but I started eating as much raw as I could, and also to my understanding back then, what is raw.
Yeah.
I felt like huge rock, huge boulder fell off my shoulders. All of a sudden, I felt alive again. It was, for me, it was really humongous difference. I felt so good right away. I started feeling so much better, and I just fell in love.
Yeah.
So I never really looked back. I tried some cooked food when I moved back with my parents. I kind of ate. Sometimes I would be hungry. I wouldn't have enough ripe fruit, and I would go to their fridge and try something cooked, and right away I wouldn't feel, that high vibration, I wouldn't feel it anymore. I would, I feel like energy drops, and I feel like heavier, and also next day I will notice a difference. I will wake up a little bit groggy and like not so light.
Yeah.
So I would always come back. And I was kind of wobbling like that, like eating a really little bit of cooked, not like full meal, but some few bites here and there, for like 3 years. And then after 3 years, I came to retreat in Croatia to see Jesse Bogdanovic. And I stayed.
Yeah.
Ever since, so we're together, and of course with him, I'm like right away, I was so strong. Okay, I wanted to be raw, fully raw, and with him it was so easy. And we're together, and we're just only eating raw. We don't have stoves or anything like that.
Yeah, you don't really need one. Yeah.
So I'm.
Do you do a lot with like dehydrated food and stuff like that, or you just try to?
We didn't have dehydrator for. Like first 6 or 7 years we lived together. So later we got dehydrator, Excalibur, and we make something sometimes, not all the time. It's not like the main staple for sure. We can easily eat without dehydrated foods.
Yeah. Now, is it? I know actually a lot of Croatians, but I don't actually know the climate there. Is it? What's the climate there?
It's like California.
Okay.
California, maybe like northern, somewhere in between northern, maybe southern California, maybe. Yeah. It doesn't really get very cold. It snows maybe once every 10 years here. And it's really hot in the summer. It's dry in the summer, and in the winter it's a little cooler and a lot of rain.
A lot of rain.
Nice.
So what exactly does your typical day look like? What is your, what do you actually eat for the most part?
Yeah. Well, green smoothies. Sometimes we make green smoothie. Well, actually, often we make green smoothie bowls. We chop some fruit. And very simple smoothie, usually just bananas, maybe mango in there, and greens, whatever we can find. We also love wild greens a lot, and just pick it in our garden. Pick something like saw thistle.
What is it?
Saw thistle. It's like a dandelion.
Okay. Yeah, that's that. I used to juice dandelion all the time, but you can't. It's very hard to find it these days. Dandelion.
Yes. So we just pick that stuff. We don't have dandelion growing here because it's too dry and hot for it. But saw thistle is like the brother, basically.
Yeah.
It's very similar. And it's very tasty in smoothies because if you have really ripe bananas, which is such a huge difference, I feel, between like successful raw vegans and not successful raw vegans. They know how to choose really ripe bananas. They know how to ripen them at home, of course, because they are almost never ripe in the store.
Yeah.
And they love them. somehow they find this, because it's really taste buds. It's so much coming from our mind because it's what we decide. But of course, it needs to be good quality. If it's a good quality banana, of course, they almost never perfect. But just the best quality banana that you can find, and if you know at what moment to eat it, and if you can't eat them all, because of course we're buying by boxes, we're buying several boxes a week, and if you see that they're going too far, that you put them in the fridge or in the freezer, and then they even taste you actually after freezer. And if you don't like cold, I don't like cold. So these, I defrost them. I let them thaw out, and then they kind of turn like caramelize. They turn a little bit brownish. And many people are like, "Ooh, it's brown." Well, they don't like brown bananas, but they like brown chocolate. Even more brown. Then if you blend this, like maybe eating them like that, when they're defrosted, it's a little funny, they're a little funny texture. But if you blend it, it's so silky. It's like caramel pudding. It's so good. And if you add some dandelion in there or some other bitter greens, even just romaine, anything you can find, it turns like kind of like chocolatey flavor, chocolatey caramel.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's so weird that you say that, because I've said that to other people and they're like, "What?" But it does. Yeah. Now, do you do a lot with dates? A lot with avocado? Do you have big salads?
Yes. So for breakfast and for lunch, we have smoothie bowls, and then salad for dinner. Always. Yeah. Big salad. With dressing, and our dressings are a little bit different than other raw vegans that I see. We blend root vegetables like either carrots or beets, but beets also need to be good quality. People take my recipe and they try it and they say, it wasn't so good. I'm asking, was avocado ripe? Because we use avocados, not always, avocados or nuts or seeds, soaked nuts or seeds. And beets, for example, so often organic beets have black spots in them, and then they're bitter, and the taste is so off. So it needs to be good quality. These big, large beets that are all like pink and red inside, like really, beautiful color. And these are so sweet, so delicious. And you blend these beets with some tomatoes or bell pepper, also bell pepper, only ripe bell pepper, because people use green bell pepper, which is unripe. It's not edible thing that we should have in the stores. Just unripe. It's not a variety. When you let this green bell pepper sit somewhere, like in the sunroom we have, they turn orange or some other color. And purple.
Yellow, orange, and red. Like by the time they're red, they're about as sweet as they're gonna get.
Yes. There are varieties that are orange and they turn really bright orange. These are ripe and really bright yellow also. And there's purple variety, which is also unripe. It will turn orange usually. So, yeah. So back to the recipe. For example, beets or other root vegetables, and then something juicy like tomato or bell pepper, and then your fats, like a little bit of fats. I'm trying to keep it like 10%. Jesse's maybe more like 20%, because he needs, he needs to eat more and get more calories in. And then some spices and herbs, and it's just so delicious. I have free meal plans where people can see those recipes and try out.
Is that on your Instagram, or do you have a website as well?
Yeah, happyrawreny.com.
Okay, I'll link that down.
Just come there and like recipe books and meal plans. You can cook meal plans, and The first one is for free. Yeah. Yeah. And salad, we like to put a lot of juicy cucumbers, icebergs, and juicy lettuce, a lot of juicy stuff, tomatoes and bell peppers. Because when people make salads too dry and they wonder like why they don't feel so good after that, it's hard to digest. You need to put a lot of juicy stuff and then a little bit of like cruciferous veggies, which are so healthy. It's just, if you haven't been eating raw cruciferous veggies a lot or not at all, then in the beginning, we need to start from very small amounts. Yeah. Because our microbiome needs to get used to it. We need to kind of develop this part of the microbiome that can digest those harder cruciferous veggies. And yeah, we love to put cabbage or cauliflower. So good, so delicious. You shred it and it's like rice. Yeah. Way better than rice, I think. Yeah. So salads like this with also we like to put in the dressing or just in the salad mushrooms, dehydrated mushrooms. I don't use fresh mushrooms because the flavor is very strong. When you dehydrate mushrooms or marinate, also another really delicious thing, then that strong flavor goes away. It's like, I don't know exactly what chemically happens there, but it goes away, and then there's so much more delicious and more easily digestible. Yeah, just dehydrate or marinate, and then we put some mushrooms, and then seaweed also, and sprouts and microgreens. So as wide variety of fresh raw foods as possible.
Are you familiar with the mucusless diet by Arnold Ehret?
Yes.
A lot of the stuff that you just mentioned, he says that it is more digestible and better for the body if you cook it, like beets, carrots, cauliflower, zucchini, stuff like that. What is, you don't agree with that?
Of course, I agree. For somebody who ate cooked food for all their life, it will be easier for them to digest these veggies cooked or like. That's why I say that if you decide to eat raw and bring your energy to the whole next level and just vibrate and have super healthy microbiome, which is like the biggest part of our immune system, super healthy bacteria in there, then start adding a little bit. You can maybe have like some cooked in the beginning and start adding a little bit of beet that is just shredded, or I love to blend it. It also makes it easier to digest.
I've never done that.
Yeah, blend with something fatty.
Yeah, I love to juice beets, but I've actually never. So you just throw them in there, like, what do you cut them up in pieces and then throw them in?
Yeah, cut them up in pieces. You can. The simplest thing is beets with avocados. Just blend beets and avocados. Maybe if you have some really ripe tomatoes, also throw in there. I would do if you're more used to carrots, for example, you can put like 2 carrots and 1 beet, and then avocado. I don't know how much avocado you would eat. For me, it would be half avocado to keep it at 10%. If it's a big one or really small one, maybe 1. And I also like to add a little bit of flax to balance out the omega-3s or chia. Yeah, and then like herbs, spices, everything, everything that you like. That is really like no limit to that. You just whatever you want. Really, you can use your favorite spices, even if they're like maybe heated a little bit. I don't think it's that important as like your main part of the food.
Yeah. I'm one of my favorite dressings of all time was you can't really do it right now because you can't find them, but blood orange, avocado, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and cayenne and cumin. and a little bit of Celtic salt. That one is just, but you have to watch, because for whatever reason, that one in particular gives me so much energy that I can't actually sleep. So I can't have that one at night. Otherwise, I'm wide awake at night. So I do have to watch with that one.
Yes, we don't really mix. Even I know that most raw vegans will say that these citrus fruit would mix okay with fat. We try not to mix usually any sweet fruit with fat. And there are several reasons for that. Why I like to do that is the digestion first is fruit. Well, if it's juice, it's okay, I guess, if it's juice. But if you eat whole fruit on the top of fat or on the top of cooked food, it's like you have a tractor going first on one lane road, and then behind it you put Ferrari without brakes, because fruit is like Ferrari. It wants to go through your body real fast.
Yeah.
And if it can't, because the tractor is in the way, it starts usually fermenting. Well, they just bombard me like, do you have a proof? I'm not a scientist, but I have a proof in my body. I know that many people experience, gas or some kind of discomfort, maybe bloating while eating this way. So that's one reason that there's gas. There's, maybe people don't notice that, but there's still fermentations going on, and it's not the healthiest thing in the body to have fermentation. And they might not notice it, but it's there. And another reason is what you mentioned, this why you had this jolt of energy is because fat, when you have fat in your bloodstream, at some point, of course, if you have very little, it's probably not going to affect. But if you have substantial amount of fat, it will block insulin receptors.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then sugar, if you have sugar at the same time, substantial amount, then it's trying to get into your cells, and it can't, because the door is closed and insulin can't open the lock and let the sugar in. So sugar stays in the bloodstream, and that's where this hyper feeling is coming from.
I mean, I didn't get it every time, but then how is durian possible then? Because that's almost the exact same makeup.
Yeah, it has not that much fat.
It's 33%.
Yeah. Well, yeah, durian definitely gives high. It makes you high.
Yeah. Are you familiar with this Dr. Brooke Goldner?
Yes, yeah.
So why do you think her thing is so effective? Because she's basically vegan keto, like raw vegan keto is basically what she is.
Yeah.
But she's curing people supposedly of everything. Why do you think something like that would be so effective?
Because they stop eating all the junk food. They stop eating animal food. It's so much healthier than the standard diet. It's incomparably healthier. I've been keto raw vegan for a year too, so I know how it feels. The only thing is, I didn't have that much energy. I was okay, but I started slowly getting into chocolate.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people who are high fat raw vegan, the chocolate is like 50% of their diet. I'm like, oof, man, I don't like caffeine at all. So I don't know how people do it. Yeah.
Well, we need energy, and preferred source of energy, as you know, is carbohydrates. So if you shove body this like fat, and you don't give enough carbohydrates, your body's like, okay, I have to survive. So it uses the fat. It goes maybe even into ketosis, depends on how much carbohydrate. And you can survive. It's okay. It's okay. And you can even heal. But it's not, I don't think it's because this disease feeds on sugar. I mean, everything feeds on sugar. Our body feeds on sugar. And there are so many people who healed even more impressively on the low fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's remember that. That's even people who ate cooked food, this 8 and 10 original 8 and 10 diet, they healed like all kinds of diseases and they released all the weight. It's phenomenal. Like Chef AJ.
Because she was actually raw vegan. She was raw vegan for a long time, and she said that it made her gain a lot of weight.
Well, because she was eating high fat raw vegan.
Exactly, and that's why is Dr. Brooke Goldner having such success and saying people that that have fruit on her plan are actually they're not healing, but if they drop the fruit, then they are healing.
Well, if they have fruit with all the fat that they're eating there, then this this situation kicks in. Like I said, when fat blocks the insulin receptors, and then sugar can't enter.
The Randall cycle.
Yeah, and then they have elevated blood sugar, and of course they don't feel so good, and they don't heal so good. So I think that's the reason. I'm not a doctor. I just have my experience, and I have experience. I see experience of people who work with us for about 10 years already. I'm working with people, and Jesse even longer, and that's what we see. That people who are the most balanced, they're rounded, balanced. They're not too high fat. They're not like no fat, because people who eat no fat, we see so many people coming to us and they're hurt. The hormones out of whack, and they maybe lost too much weight, sometimes different challenges. But usually, they get ultra thin and dry, and their nerves are just like raw. Because there's just not enough fat in their system. We need some fat. It's important building block for our body, and we need some of it. Yeah, I think 10% depends on a person. I guess 10 to 20% is good. It's just balanced.
And I think one of the biggest issues that people run into on the raw vegan when they first come into it is they don't ripen their fruit, or they don't get ripe fruit. I'm sure you see that a lot.
Oh, a ton. That's the number one probably thing. This and under eating. They don't realize how much volume they need to eat.
Yeah.
They eat a couple of bananas, like maybe 4 at best, and they're like, I kind of am hungry on the raw. Oh, you're hungry on 4 bananas. I'm eating 8 at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mentor, Arnold, that he told me, he's like, start every day with 10 to 15 bananas and go from there.
There you go. That's what Jesse does. Yeah. He's
100%.
Yeah.
But that's we're coming into here in the north, we're coming into colder season, and it does get excruciating to ripen bananas. I've done everything from putting them in black bags to putting them in brown bags to putting an apple in with them, and sometimes it still takes up to 3 weeks to get it to go from green to actually ripe.
Well, yeah, the temperature I think is very important, because when I lived in Estonia for the first 3 years, I've been pretty much raw, like 97% raw. And I've been ripening bananas there with just having box next to the radiator or something.
Oh, yeah, that works too.
Yeah. Also, there are these brothers, guys, I don't know if they're still rocking it now, Natural Sweet Living, something like that. And they're from Norway.
Oh, wow.
And look at Chris. Chris lived in Canada and then now in Sweden.
Yeah, he's in Sweden. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm just saying a lot of people run into this block that they'll just have nothing. Their choices is like green banana, slightly green banana, like almost yellow banana, and they're like, what do I do? What do you tell people to do in that situation?
Ripen them at home. You need to provide temperature. That's the most important thing. if bananas get warm temperature, I notice when it's really warm here, I don't even want to put them in a box because they might go bad so fast.
Yeah.
So why? It's because of the temperature. That's the only thing. Just crank it up somewhere in your house. If you can, just some kind of heater. If you don't want to heat up your whole house, you don't have to. Just some kind of corner, organize it so it's kind of secluded somehow. Put a heater there and bananas there. And yeah, and also with bananas, I love to play with bananas. I have a revolutionary banana recipes book and I show everything there. I use like freezer to freeze and then defrost, and then, like I explained in the beginning, they turn so much more tastier in a smoothie. And then also dehydrate if you have dehydrator. If you don't have dehydrator, you can even open oven to kind of try to put thermometer there to see that it's okay temperature. I mean, even if it's a little bit higher, it's still 100 times healthier than eating like bread and pasta.
Yeah.
Put bananas there. I like to kind of take bananas in the skin and smush them a little bit, like make them kind of a little bit flat. That starts that process of turning the starches into sugars. And then I put them on the sheet and let them dehydrate just for even like 4 hours, 5 hours. So partially dehydrate, not fully dry, but just they turn like soft and they turn, I don't know how to compare it. Maybe like some sort of souffle. I don't know if you have a word like that. It's so delicious. It's like my little one is crazy about it. She says, I want the bananas from dehydrator, and they're just so sweet, so delicious. It's so simple. You can really play around with the raw food a little bit, and you can really thrive even if it's, we don't have, everyone thinks that here in Croatia, we're like swimming in figs. That's only for 1 month, maybe 2. We have this beautiful fig season. This is like
I've heard about the figs. Yeah.
Anything else but that, almost. And even when we have all the beautiful fruit, we still crave greens and salads. So, but at the other times, also there's persimmon season too. But in between, in our little place here, we're not in a big city. It's so hard to find anything. Mostly we eat bananas, for fruit, and maybe like occasional mango here and there, Oranges, we try to squeeze orange juice, to get something juicy. I would eat so much more juicy stuff if I would be, like when we went to the States, we go to the store and I'm like,
yeah, especially. Yeah, especially if you come to like Asian stores in America.
Oh yeah,
it's insane what you can find there. Yeah, it's crazy.
All these beautiful mangoes, papayas, and coconuts. Oh, like you have everything. Yeah. I don't know how people say, "Oh yeah, you in Croatia have it. We don't have." That's complete opposite.
Yeah. So you don't have like that Asian store. I mean, I guess maybe you would if you were closer to a bigger city, maybe.
Even in bigger cities in Croatia, I never saw. Maybe in Zagreb there's one, but it's so like there's barely anything, only canned stuff. So we asked for durian, and they looked at us like no. Yeah. So here we're like in a little village. We don't have it, like barely anything, just bananas. Lucky if we have mangoes sometimes, avocados, Yeah, not so much stuff.
So can you get dates at least there?
Dates are saving us. And I would not recommend eating dates like as they are, just dry, or even if they're kind of soggy. And we get really good dates from Iran.
Okay.
It's across the whole Europe. I soak them, and then I blend them with something like blueberries. We have frozen blueberries, and sometimes fresh blueberries, and blend with something like to make like a jam. and then we put that jam on the top of smoothie bowl.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, we love that. It's so good. And that's really important source for calories for us because we just don't have that much. But you know, we get some stuff like peaches and plums. It's just, if we order them from organic store online, you never know how they will come. Mm-hmm. They often come unripe, but sometimes you're lucky and you never know how they come. So the best is to go to the store. If you can go farmer's market, and there you can, you know, see them how they are touched. They need to be soft, or let them ripen and turn soft. Most of the fruit, to know if it's ripe or not, the most reliable is the touch, how they feel. If they're soft, they're usually ripe. Except the watermelons, of course. They need to be hard.
Yeah, 100%.
If the watermelon is soft to the touch,
stay away. Yeah, stay away. It's gonna. Have you ever had one explode on you? I've had like that happen 2 times.
Almost.
Yeah.
You start cutting and you.
Yeah. I came home one day, and this is why I always keep. I take banana boxes and I kind of line them now. Because I came home one time and one had exploded. It took me 4 hours, I feel like, to clean it up because I had to move the fridge. I had to move everything in the kitchen. I mean, it was everywhere. So now, from now on, I keep them. Yeah, because you just never. It was actually hard. It was a hard watermelon, and it just. I was like, wow.
Oh, wow, overripe.
Yeah, it was overripe. Yeah. So you got to watch with that. And another thing is here, at least, like if you go to the store, the dates you usually get at the store kind of dehydrated. But if you order them from California or Mexico or something like that, they're not dry at all. They're like, you can actually like almost juice. I mean, they're so wet. So it depends on where you get them.
Yeah, then you probably don't have to soak them. I would still blend them with, especially berries are good, like blueberries, because they help to stabilize that blood sugar. Because from dates, you still can get a little bit of, even if you're low fat, I feel you can still get a little bit of the sugar spike if you eat like a substantial amount.
Yeah.
So blueberries, they even out that curve. They make it more even. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to make pies like that, like raw vegan pies. I would blend dates and blueberries, and then I would put it in. I would make a date like crust, and then I would blend other dates with blueberries or raspberries or whatever, and I would pour that in. I would and then I would put it in the fridge for I don't know how long, and then it got hard, and then we would all eat it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you do it on YouTube, on video too?
No, this was back. I had a couple people like, dude, you got to get on YouTube. And the vegans at that time, and still to this day, were so divisive and crazy, though, that I didn't actually want to be a part of the whole thing. You always had some drama going on with the vegans. They were nuts, like they are still a little bit to this day, but of all of the sectors on YouTube, it seemed like the vegans were always at each other's throats for something. And I'm like, man, I just don't want any part of it. So unfortunately, no, I did not. But if I ever did it again, I still have a food processor. I still could do it. But yeah, no, awesome. I did not at that time.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, it was really good. So you don't seem to mind like frozen fruit, because I know there's some here again with the raw vegan, some won't even touch frozen fruit. They say it's not real food.
Well, you don't have to go too crazy and too purist. I mean, I think it's if they want to, that's fine with me. if they feel good with that. When options are very limited, I feel that it's better to open up a little, because you might end up just too malnourished. You don't get, enough variety if you don't eat anything frozen. So berries, in the wintertime, if we can get fresh ones, and sometimes frozen ones are better quality. But yeah, usually, yeah, we just can't get fresh ones. That's why we get frozen ones. It's better to get them than not to get at all. I know there are some theories that they for example, I totally understand that there are less like bacteria in there, that natural bacteria that's supposed to be in there, because they didn't survive that freezing. But you can just eat some other fresh stuff and get the bacteria this way.
Yeah.
So the enzymes are still there.
Do you put people on enzymes, kind of like Life Regenerator does? Well, did when he had that channel. You don't? Are you into
yeah,
that?
We tried the enzymes when Jesse was working with Lou a little bit, and I don't know. I didn't notice like huge difference. Maybe because we were raw for so long. I like the enzymes in raw food. Why would we? Juices, I understand, and I like their like that lemon, ginger blast. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that. I don't think we need the enzymes like packed. I don't know how really alive they're there. I feel like from raw food is so much more powerful.
Yeah. So how do you tell people to get started? When somebody's coming to you, what do you tell people? What's the best way to get started? Go full force, or do you tell people to go easy into it?
Definitely not full force. I went full force. I was so on such a poor diet, like barely eating anything, and I just jumped all in, and I felt so much better. So for me, it was easy. I guess it depends on a person, but usually I would just like, okay, let's add some fresh fruit in the morning and some fresh salad with dinner. Even if you start from little salad and then expand it and reach like even 50-50, 50 is fresh salad and 50 is cooked food, people feel so much better. It's a huge difference already. So we have most people in our group are eating some cooked food. I would say out of cooked foods, the best would be starchy vegetables. Is like the healthiest, because grains give people issues, many people.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely all the processed foods, I would recommend to start kind of releasing them as fast as possible, but not to go too crazy, because emotional health is so important too. If we get too stressed about everything, the stress hormones can make you feel even worse on a raw diet if you're like so paranoid about everything. For me, I didn't have that. I fell in love with everything so much. And for me, I was just even more excited, even more happier on raw food. I wasn't restricting myself. I was actually so proud to be different. I always was proud to be different since I was young and little. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm eating this crazy diet, and all friends laughing at me, and I laugh with them. And they're like, there was sometimes I'm saying, yeah, I'm eating these greens, and they're so good, and wild greens, and they're like, moo. I'm like, okay, moo. So I just for me, it's not a problem to be different, and I don't know. I guess I was so excited about all of that. So it was the opposite of the restriction for me, because I was so restricted with this low carb diet. This was like abundance. It was finally abundance. I could eat all I really, really wanted, because when I read about raw vegan diet, I'm like, really? You can eat all my favorite things, the fruits, veggies. It's like always I felt, I don't know why, I just always loved it the most.
And so, yeah, so you just tell people to take it as kind of slow. I actually was cold turkey. I mean, I just went straight for it because With me, with moderation, it never works out. It's kind of like telling somebody who's coming off cigarette, only have one a day, and then it just doesn't happen. So I have to watch with that, but some people can do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning that. I actually, if you talk about processed foods, like with MSG in there and all of that, yeah, I think it's easier to just cut it all off and replace with some cooked food that is like whole food, and maybe use some kind of like coconut aminos or something like that to make it tasty.
Yeah.
To bring that crazy strong flavor that you're used to. Yeah. Yeah, if it's processed foods, I think it's better to go cold turkey. But cooked food, like if it's just whole foods, things like that, I would say, just slowly start transition into raw. And again, for some people, it works better to just jump all in. So it depends on your personality. You can try like 7-day cleanse. And if you go like, I can't think, I can't move, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Usually people can't sleep because they undereat.
Yeah, I tell people that all the time, and they try to come back at me with calories, and I'm calories in, calories out, and I'm like, no, you're just not eating enough. Because and people ask me if you're not falling asleep. You probably don't agree with this, but I tell them, I'm like, just dump like a quarter cup of sugar and just some water, and swirl it around and drink it. I said, on nights that I have an issue with sleeping, I'll do that. I don't even remember going up the stairs. I mean, all I remember is waking up the next day because it works so well. But if you're a raw foodist, even when I was raw food, I was doing sugar, but it just, you're not eating enough. Your body's looking for food. And that's what happens on keto too. Cause we have a pretty similar background, it seems. I did keto for on and off for like a decade. And you never can sleep.
Wow.
You can never sleep because I lifted. I was a really heavy lifter. And I had that mentality of meat. You got to eat your meat. At one point I was eating up to 40 pounds of meat a week.
Oh.
And so, yeah, so I cold turkeyed it, and, I just came straight off, went raw vegan, and I went through some hard detox. I'll tell you what, I was puking up worms. I had it coming out both ends. I mean, it was gnarly, and I wasn't even doing a juice cleanse like people talk about.
Wow. Powerful. Wow. I would love to learn more about your stories. It's really interesting and very inspiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but the reason I say some of this stuff is because most people aren't going to be all right with what happened to me. They might want to do it slower. So
on the person.
It depends on the person. I remove all emotion from things. I just like, this is what's happening. This is what we're going through right now. It is what it is. I ate dead animal for 30 years or something like that. There's going to be some backup. So, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of seems this portion of the interview is run its course. Do you have anything that you wanted to finish with?
Yeah, I would say when we start eating raw food, then very often, I know you said you were very strong with your emotions, very often emotions start coming up.
Yep.
On the surface. So we need to be ready with some type of strategy to deal with it. So I would really recommend to look into it, to learn how to, whatever fits someone, a meditation or a prayer. Also, when it comes to relationships with people, and actually even for yourself too, what I like to use is Ho'oponopono prayer. It's like a very simple Hawaiian prayer. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And if you say these words like really from your heart, and you feel like, I love you, like really, really, we all one, we're all in together in this boat. People can be crazy. They're just confused, if they're like acting not so nicely. So deep inside, they are still a soul, a beautiful soul. So, you can say, I love you to anybody in the world, and really mean it. I'm sorry. Why? I'm sorry because when you take responsibility for everything on yourself, everything that's happening, because you're so powerful. Every single soul is so powerful, and it's kind of, it's a very touchy subject. People can jump on me and everything, but we have a choice. If we choose to be a victim, like most people do, then we will be a victim. And if we choose to be the powerful, powerful being and take responsibility for everything without, we don't have to judge ourselves. It's just like, okay, I'm responsible. That's okay. I'm not perfect. I do my best, but I'm taking responsibility. I'm just doing my best to send the best energy out of my heart to everybody around, to send the love. When you do that, things change like a lot. So, and then you say, I'm sorry. So I'm sorry that I wasn't sending the best energy. That's why I see that reflection in the other person, not the best energy, because it's a reflection. If somebody does something bad, that means that it was inside of us. But we don't have to blame ourselves. We just like acknowledge, okay, because we come to this world and we get poured like lots and lots of yuckiness on our head. We have layers and layers of emotions from our childhood. So we're not perfect. But when you understand, like, okay, I'm not perfect, and it's my reflection that I see, you say, yeah, I'm sorry. And then you say, please forgive me. You can ask for forgiveness from this soul, and this soul will hear you. At least this is in my understanding, and I feel I choose this understanding because it's empowering. When you ask, please forgive me, and you know that this soul will forgive you because they're pure soul. You know that they forgave you, and you say, thank you for forgiving me. This process is so powerful. It's like, no matter what was going on in my life with especially with other people, it works. It's just like when you really mean it, you feel it. I have goosebumps everywhere. I feel this vibration connection, and all of a sudden it works. Even with a little baby, with Lily, she doesn't understand yet what's going on. She does something. She goes, something, she doesn't like something. And then I send her the prayer like that, and she calms down.
Yeah. Yeah, words. I mean, Jesus talked about this all the time. Words are powerful. I mean, you really have to. I guess I wish we would have talked. I mean, talk about this more. I'm really into this whole aspect. I ask the food questions and the calorie questions because that's the bulk of what people actually want to. But this is way more important, and I don't think that you can be as highly elevated. It actually talks about this in Revelations. What you eat will be where you go. In Revelations, about the lighter you are, the more likely you are to go to a new dimension or whatever it is. And I think it's very important. And I think people who are eating death, I mean, because you got all the death in you, are not. But then you got people like my mother, who's like the most saintly person that I know, and she's basically keto. So but I just think overall, I think it does elevate you a little bit, or something more than
definitely. Well, your mother, if she would try to eat this way, she would be even way more powerful. Her beautiful soul would shine so much brighter.
I've tried that ship has sailed.
Okay, it's not. Yeah. It's not our job. We just here to be example, a shining example. Yeah, I'm so grateful. My parents felt it from both of us, me and Jesse, and they're high raw.
Now, I mean, I can't say anything about my mom, because I mean, she ate probably like a bushel of peaches. I mean, she does like her fruit, but she only really likes fruit when it's in season. She's like one of these people. So if she can go get it because there's so many farmers markets around here, it's crazy. So if she can go get it at a farmer's market, then she'll go get it. But she doesn't buy much fruit during I don't know, from like November through like April when it's, the farmers markets aren't really open anymore. But during this, the summer, I mean, she eats more fruit than most people would even dream of.
Yeah. Well, if she feels healthy and she's obviously, like you said, very kind person, that's great. Let her live her life the way she chooses. Yeah. And we're just, taking it to the next level.
100%. Anyway, I think I think that's about it. I would like to actually have you on again to talk more about this, but maybe we can plan that out.
Yeah, I would love to interview you too on my channel.
But yeah, I would love to come on your channel and talk.
Story is so inspiring. I can't wait to interview you and know more about all of that. And wow, it's really yeah. I really would love to see more of you sharing this transformation that you went through. It's so inspiring.
I do. I kick myself. There, you can't go in the past. There's no such thing as a should have time machine. You can't should have gone back and done anything. But I do wish I would have documented it. I really do. I wish I could go back and watch my YouTube channel of my journey from 405 down to at one point I got myself down to 225. I do wish I had that, but I don't. So it's not there.
Well, you have some befores?
Some. I mean, when you're 405 pounds, you are not like, take pictures of me, so.
I was not that heavy, but even me, I barely had it.
Yeah. It's not like, look at me, like, I got one shirt that fits. I got one pair of jeans that fits. I got to wear the same thing every day. It's not exactly like you're going to a photo shoot every day. So there isn't a whole lot. I'm always like, man, I really wish I could create a new thumbnail. And there is one other picture that was taken of me where I was so big, I almost took up the entire love seat, but I can't find it anywhere. I really wish I could, but you have what you have.
Yeah, well, you have some pictures, and your story speaks for itself. You can just tell how much you released and how big you were, how you felt. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, go everybody go check her out. Put the links down below. I'm assuming you like people going to your website quite a bit too, because that's probably where most of the information.
Yeah, and Instagram. Yeah, on website you will find some free resources, and I'm actually excited about the 7-day. I like to call it adventure. I'm a lot into releasing cravings, because I feel like most people who are vegans, I would like to work with vegans, first of all, they know what to eat. Like, at least they have idea. They know they need to eat healthier. The issue is they have these strong cravings. They can't, push through. And I had huge cravings too in the beginning. And I went through a lot of, especially emotional eating. I'm like, be a big emotional eater. So this is my passion, to help people with that, because I'm so much also into psychology and help with emotions. So if you're like emotional eater and you have cravings and you would like to eat healthier, maybe high raw or even like vegan with at least some raw, then we'll have this 7-day adventure. I'm not sure even how I'm going to call it yet. Maybe craving busting adventure. And totally for free. So come over to my page, subscribe to my Instagram, and you will see when it's coming.
When? So you don't know when you're rolling that out?
Let's see.
You're gonna plan it now.
Plan it now. Yeah. I just started thinking about it the last couple of days. I did one already earlier. I was sending it to my mailing list. So if you just come and grab my free hacks, craving busting hacks, free craving busting hacks on our website. If you grab that, you'll be subscribed to the list, and then I'll send the invitation. I think probably within a couple of weeks, we're going to do it.
Perfect. Maybe we'll talk more about it, but I would like to have you on here again, talking not as much about the food.